So, here we go. Hi, my name is Morten and I work for the Danish Cancer Society. And it's a pleasure now to have a chance to explain to you some of the secrets of how we managed not to pull a leg of the politicians, but how to argue diligently in a way that we were successful to get quite a lot of money for developing Danish cities to become more biking friendly. And the perspective that I'll be giving you today is one of coming from a health NGO. How do we work? How can you maybe, when you go home, be able to motivate my colleagues in other countries to get on board and work nicely with them? So that's kind of what I will be telling you about. So yeah, it's not dirty secrets, but there are some very simple things that I need you to bring home. First of all, I prepared a little handout for you, which is actually the secret of how we did our lobby work. So this is the crucial document. Yeah, do you know what? This group can't take all of them. Yeah. So this is the piece of paper that the health NGOs and the Danish Cyclist Federation, we made together. We wrote this piece of paper, and I think if you want the very basic explanation, this is a way of making the politicians proud. We're trying to talk about pride in this paper. So maybe one of the most important issues in here is that we are talking about how can the Danish politicians become more proud of being Danish. So we are talking into their own understanding of we want to be a good nation. So that's one of the issues we do here. And of course, it might for you seem strange that we want to have better and improved biking facilities in Denmark, but there's still a lot of room. And from a public health point of view, we think that it's important now to move away from just having little stupid posters and trying to convince people by knowledge and scientific arguments. They don't really catch on. But if we can change the infrastructure, that's from a public health point of view, is way more powerful. So back to the lobbying issue here. We have this paper. We went to the politicians and told them, you know what? We want you to put up 200 million Danish kroners each year to incentivize the municipalities so that they could do better. And then later on, the government actually put out a plan, and they said 100 million per year for this. And I was running around with my arms over the head, and my good colleague over here, which I can recommend you to go, she said, pull down those arms, Morten, take away that stupid smile. We want to go back to the politicians once more, because she thought we would be able to raise it even further than just the 100, to go for the double. So actually, the politicians, when the agreement came out, there was a political negotiation, and it ended up with actually getting what we asked for. So it's actually a 5-year period with 200 million Danish kroners each year available for bicycling infrastructure. And if you want some more details on that, it's like the municipality or the government comes up with 1 billion, and the municipalities need to come about the double. So we actually have 3 billions for the next 5 years. In euros, that would be 400 millions. For a little country with only 5 million people. So when you heard Connie Hedegaard, the commissioner from the EU, she was talking about 600 million, but that's for the entire EU. We have a nice comparable amount just for the Danish, right? So it's about 72 euros per inhabitant that is now available for improving the infrastructure, right? Before there was almost nothing. So one of the secrets behind this was certainly to differentiate the argumentation, not just to stick from the health point of view. We would just be arguing from the health point of view, and the bicycle people, they would be arguing just from the bicycling point of view. But by going together, we were able to do much better than just being simple individual. So the first lesson to take away is you need to diversify your argumentation. So you bring in, and the lectures the day before yesterday from this white leg gentleman with all the co-benefits, go there. It was a gold mine of wonderful arguments that you can work on. So what happened here is that in Denmark we have what we actually call the 4-clover leaf thing, which is the sign of being lucky. So it's the Cancer Society, it'll be the Heart Association, it'll be a Diabetic Association, it'll be the Consumers Council. We have an established lobby, not secret, and a wonderful partnership here. And actually for this partnership with the Cycling Federation, we also invited the Medical Association to be part of that. So all these organizations are behind this paper. We put the logos and all the chairmen's names on there. So that kind of power is exemplified here. if you were just the bicycle people, you would have limited power when you go to talk to the politicians. Here, instead, I try to list here the number of people that are members of these 4 different organizations. So this is more than 10% of the Danish populations are members of these organizations. So when we sit there talking to the politicians, they listen now, compared to just being a tiny group of cycling enthusiasts, right? So 16% of the population is actually members by here. So let me talk a little bit about how to engage health NGOs. That's probably some of the issues that you'll be wanting to use here. So of course, to get engaged with health NGOs can be an issue, because they might not start thinking that, oh yes, we want to embrace you, we want to work with you. But to convince them, you really need to understand how they think. And one of the main lessons there is that the health NGOs, what are they here for? They are here actually to raise money, just like private companies. You need to understand that, and you need to understand that they want to be proud. They want something to brag about, that they changed the world, and they want to have something to be proud of in a way that it's easy for them to be part of this lobby work. So actually, sometimes you need to do the work for them. So you need to be very good at looking at the scientific, or get somebody to help you, look at the scientific literature and make policy documents out of scientific evidence, which is way easier, something that the politicians can read and the NGO people can read. Tying what you want to do with the available evidence. It needs to be tweaked and adjusted and so on, but that's the trick to get health NGOs on board. That is, their language is to argue in terms of medical evidence. So when you can go that way, it's a lot easier. And again, that's also what you can find at this conference. So let me just start summing up here by saying you need to be very precise when you ask politicians what you want. Your ask need to be very specific, and you need to allow the politicians to be proud of what you're presenting to them. Don't take on the ownership as it's your venture here. It's theirs, so they need to be proud of it. And you need to prepare the arguments for your politicians in a way that it fits into their view of the world. So when we went to the different parties, only one party in the parliament felt that, this is maybe, why should we do that? All the others, yeah, why not? This is a good idea, because we could tie in climate, we could tie in congestion in the roads, and we could tie in public health, and who wants to be against that? So it was kind of easy to get them on board, and the lobby process proceeded very quickly, because many of the politicians said, do you know what, we agree, why don't we start talking about how to make this happen instead of whether it should happen. So some of the politicians actually became our champions. They helped us in how to adjust our argumentation towards some of the strategies towards other parties. That kind of intimacy in the relation with your friends there is very important. Yeah. And also, involving the NGOs, I want to tell you one trick is, don't do all the work and then involve them later. Bring them on board from the beginning, because having a good idea and want somebody else to take it on is very hard. But if they are part of getting the ideas, it's way easier to work with people. So you might actually think that, hey, we were successful for one reason, because when the politicians are working on this budget, this is big money. It's the train investments for the next 5 or 10 years. It's all the motor highways and so on. So the amount of money for bikes, even though it's 1 billion, which is tremendously big when you consider from the bike point of view, but from the highways and ferries and airports and so on, it's peanuts. It's peanuts. But again, I mean, be there when the timing is right, because they were negotiating this anyhow. So it was nice that all the different politicians, they wanted to support this. So just to sum up, use other arguments than the ones that's just from your own world. Power up by teaming up with the health NGOs. Be very concrete in what you ask for. Make the politicians proud. Identify your champions within the political world and work closely with them. And prepare your arguments individually to the political parties. So, I'm done.
One quick question.
Please. Yeah.
What about the people who want the money for the highway so they get those contracts?
They've been doing all of their lobbying, but in the political climate, we were kind of the good guys. And when the good guys, they sometimes pull together, start writing nice documents and arguments that might align a little bit with what the other big lobbyists they are doing, it's easy to get an impact here. And we haven't confronted them directly. No.
Do the same companies make money off the bicycle infrastructure as make money off the highway infrastructure, so they still get the money? No idea.
I don't know. Yeah. Any other questions, please?
Was there ever any issue or concern from the health NGOs that they're going to these politicians to ask for money for good biking, and it was going to cut into their other asks? I'm sure they were going to politicians for other health issues.
Yeah, but this money was dedicated to traffic investments, so there was no fear about that. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please move on and take care. Bye bye.